now by Paul McMullen, a former News of the World journalist. Welcome to you. Thank you for being with us. It has been a terrible and torrid time for the business of tabloid journalism, hasn't it?
It has. Sean, as you know, Sean Hoare, who died yesterday, blew the whistle first on the news department, and I suppose I followed him by blowing the whistle as in the features department, where I was deputy features editor, Rebecca Brooks having been features editor. So I had access to the same books, the same records, the same payments to private eyes of up to £4,000 a week as she did. Now, Sean Hoare was furious that his former friend Andy Coulson had dumped on his reporters in this way and saying it was a rogue reporter when clearly it wasn't. And in the same way, over on Features, I was very disappointed that my boss, who I'd worked for, just threw us to the wolves and said again, I knew nothing about it, it was just the reporters. So the question must be, how is it you could pay a PI £4,000 a week and not even ask, you know, what they were doing and why? Isn't the number one role of an editor to say, where did you get the story and how do you know it's true? And let me listen.
Well, let me give you a cynical rejoinder to that. Isn't the job of an editor to say, I hear no evil, I see no evil?
I don't know. Normally we were asked to transcribe all the tapes we made. It was a golden rule at the News of the World. You would be fired if you had a significant interview that you did not record. So we all had drawers full of tapes that regularly the legal department would ask us to transcribe just so that story would, you know, could be printed. And, you know, what better information but information from the horse's mouth, if you like, left on a mobile in their own words, kind of proving the story, meaning you know it's true, so you can then run it. It's lazy journalism, and it was bad journalism, and they're being picked up on it now.
I want to know what you're saying here. Are you saying that Rebecca Brooks did know and chooses and is dissembling, or that she didn't know because she was incompetent or lazy or chose not to know?
The second is certainly true. I thought she was a terrible editor. She's the worst editor I've ever worked for. She didn't have a clue about the job. She's fantastic at networking. I mean, you know, A-star grade for that. But at journalism, I don't think she'd ever written a story for the News of the World, never done an investigation. Didn't know. I spent 7 years in a surveillance van learning the ropes before being made deputy features editor. She just went secretary, oh, the boss. I mean, I wouldn't have given her a job in the department, but she was the boss. I mean, I said before that...
Is this sour grapes on your part?
Yes. I've got to say a little bit. I mean, she sent me undercover. I left the paper when she sent me undercover for 1 year. I mean, I just got married, just set up home in South London, just had a baby, and she said, you're a News of the World reporter, you have no personal life, you must go and live on that council estate for 1 year, 200 miles away from your home. And I thought, you are away with the fairies, love. So I left on that basis. And actually afterwards, when I went to work at the Express, the first thing she did was to send her managing editor to speak to my new boss, the editor of the Sunday Express, to detail all my failings and you know, how I'd messed things up in the past. She wasn't a nice person to cross. She's very good at networking, but an atrocious editor, and 20 years of stewardship at the News of the World and News International, and look at the mess that she's made.
So what are the key questions that she has to answer then today?
Well, why on earth did you hire Andy Coulson, who was, well, I defer to Sean Hoare, who's not here anymore, who used to hack away quite merrily and had it was a showbiz trick that I don't think anyone particularly minded. I mean, you're hacking into a movie star's phone who's getting paid £5 million by Murdoch in the first place to be in a movie. So no one...
Do you not see any moral problem with that? You think... I mean, yeah, some movie star or whoever, a business guy or banker is lucky enough to earn £5 million. Does that mean they forego all rights of privacy?
It sort of does if Murdoch was paying them that. I mean, I've done stories in the past on, for example, Nicole Kidman, who was in Moulin Rouge, getting paid a huge sum of money to be in a 20th Century Fox production, and I'm being paid by Rupert Murdoch to poke around her bins at the same time. So it's all a big game, and if you take the money, you've got to accept that another branch of the master's empire is going to have a look at your private life.
You've got to accept that then you've got to... Well, taking a look at your private life, well, you know, where do you draw the line on how you look at someone's private life?
Well, I never saw phone hacking as a big issue. I thought we're just having a bit of a listening to someone's messages. I mean, why is everyone running around like a headless chicken? It's really not such a big deal. It never used to be illegal. These guys made it illegal because we kept catching them with their trousers around their ankles. So clearly they're going to want to stop journalists doing legitimate investigations, and one of those tools was listening into people's messages. I mean,
how would you like it if your private life was turned over like that?
Well, it has been. Someone hacked into my mobile phone a while ago
and
changed the code so I couldn't listen to my own messages. I thought, oh no. And also, I've got 3 Paul McMullans on Twitter, all with my picture, tweeting to my friends and relatives who are worried about my sanity. Well, it's not me. I don't have a Twitter account. You know, it's someone else. So I
sort of have no problems with your sanity.
Well, hopefully not. No. I mean, when Hugh Grant walked into my pub and turned me over and bugged me, and it's the first time I ever said Rebekah Brooks knew all about it, because, you know, a couple of pints over the bar, your tongue loosens up a bit. I just thought it was funny. And why have people all lost their sense of humour? I mean, I understand that the policemen may have been corrupt, they were taking freebies, right at the very top. That's quite shocking. I'm quite happy for the policeman to resign, but for the rest of the showbiz world, it was just a game. People wanted to get in the paper all the time. We got a phone call on the features desk, some ridiculous story, or we want this celeb doing this and going to pretend they're going out, and this celeb's got an illness, and it's all fake. So you play that game, sometimes you're going to get bitten, and sometimes it works out in your favour.
Okay, cool. I'm grateful to you. Thank you very much indeed.